I truly wish I did not feel compelled to make this video, but nonetheless, here are 25 safety tips for women. Some of these things may be general things you've heard before, and some of them are maybe not so obvious things you should be thinking about. And I want you to know that I make this video not to instill fear in you, but to give you a further way of being alert and aware. I was literally talking to my therapist today about feeling unsafe in the world, and we're unpacking how I can live without this anxiety of feeling like I'm going to be kidnapped at any given moment. So I know that's something that women everywhere, we are always feeling unsafe just for existing in this world. And I hope that with some of these things that I will give you today, they will help you be more alert and more conscious in ways that we can keep ourselves and the women in our lives safe and protected. One of the first different things I actually just did recently was change my DoorDash name to a man's name. So if you get any sort of food delivery, I suggest changing your account name to a guy's name and also having the feature set where it's leave it at the door. What I noticed is when I was getting food deliveries, definitely when I was having them handed to me, some of my delivery people would text me afterwards and say things to me. And I just decided, all in all, they don't even need to know that a woman lives here. It doesn't matter. So I changed my name to a guy's name. I have not been bothered since. I've had no DoorDash people even linger for longer than a second at my door. So, little quick tip. Number 2, get things that you feel safe protecting yourself with. So when you're out and about, if this is pepper spray or one of those little knuckle holders, I'm going to create a category in my Amazon storefront called safety things. And that way you'll be able to see all of the stuff that I mentioned today, all of the alarms and all of the safety tools that you can get. But make sure it's something that you feel you would be comfortable using and you wouldn't be worried about it being turned against you and used against you. Also, in my apartment, I have a taser that I keep in my room. I also have other things that I keep out in my living room. I have something for literally every single room. That way, no matter what, I'm always prepared. Number 3 is alarms and a Ring doorbell. So I have installed for every single one of the doors that leads to the outside of my apartment, for my balcony and for my main door. I just got these alarms off of Amazon, and they're remote controlled, so you can disable them before you leave. But I always enable it the moment that I step back through my door, and they blare loudly. They're motion detected, and you put a piece of it on each side of the door so it detects if the door is being opened. This brings me a lot of comfort for at night, because I used to just have this fear that I would be in my bedroom, and like if I had to get up to go pee, I would literally just be thinking about if there was somebody that somehow managed to get into my apartment without me hearing it. So with these, I know for sure that that is not the case. It is blaringly loud when it gets set off, and it's very easy to disable and enable for you when you need to leave and re-enter and things like that. I also got a Ring doorbell. I got one of the ones, I did get it off of Amazon, and I got one of the ones that records all the motion outside of my apartment. I love having a camera out there because it lets anybody know that's coming up to my door that your face is fucking being recorded right then and there. If I get a knock at my door, like even the other day, a Verizon dude like randomly showed up at my door doing a sales pitch, and I'm able to see exactly who is on the other side and ask questions through the door and see what they look like, whatever, and without ever having to open up the door. Brings me a lot of comfort. Highly recommend. Number 4, take a self-defense class. Obviously, this is important because it has you prepared, but it also boosts your confidence in situations like this, and being able to go out in the world feeling more confident and prepared. Taking multiple self-defense classes and just multiple forms of martial arts was one of the best things I felt like I could do to feel like I could take down any motherfucker that tries to try me. But some general areas that you can know to target that are more weak: the nose, a little palm to the nose, gouge the eyes, base of the throat right here, catch them slipping. The fingers, if you need to bend the fingers every which way. The crotch, obviously. The shins are better for distracting, not good for taking them out, but you have to hit the shins so that you can then do follow up with something else. That's great. And then the foot stomp also as well is helpful if you're kind of trapped in any way and need to foot stomp it out. Number 5 is obvious. Always be aware of what is going on around you. Always be alert. Please do not be caught up in your phone. And I know, I wish we could just fucking walk out and about, not have to think about these things. I fucking wish. But we always have to be alert of what's going on around us. And obviously, don't have your headphones in, especially if you're walking around at night. But even during the day, if you need to just have one in so you can have your music going, but it's not super loud so you can still hear what's going on around you. If you're like GPS trying to figure out where you're going, still walk with confidence. Glance if you need to every so often, but don't be glued to your phone. If you look like you're confused, you look like an easy target. So always walk like you know exactly where you're going. Always walk with confidence. And even if you really have no fucking clue where you are and you're lost as shit, have the presentation that you know exactly where you're going. Number 7 is, I know us women, we love to like linger in our car and kind of like debrief after we go somewhere or get back from somewhere. And that's one of the worst things that you could do. Do not linger in your car. The moment that you get in your car, lock the doors and fucking start driving. If you linger in your car for even 10, 15 minutes, it gives somebody the opportunity to bash your window in and carry you away. And I know I'm really not trying to scare anybody with this, but these are real things that happen in the real fucking world. So do not linger in your car. When you get somewhere or when you are getting back home even, don't linger. Just get in, get out, drive to where you're going, whatever. And then obviously lock your doors the moment you get in your car. Also with the car, I hate to say this, but with your windows, it's better to have them cracked than to have them all the way down. I live in LA. I drive through a lot of areas where people are just unhinged. I've had one guy come up to my windows and try to reach his arm through my window. I had another guy went to my back door and tried to open up my door in my car so that he could get in. Always keep your doors locked, and if you can keep your windows cracked and just ready to roll up, that's ideal. I know we all just want to be like cruising with the windows down, but just be mindful of the area you're in. And again, it's not to say that we can't enjoy these things, but just really be alert, be mindful. If you are at a red light, always leave space between you and the car in front of you. And that way, if anything sketch is happening around you, you have space to get yourself out of that situation, to turn out at the light. This is also great if somebody rear ends you. I just got rear-ended like fairly recently, and thankfully I didn't hit the car in front of me because I had left enough space, because depending on the state that you're from, it is considered your fault if you hit the car in front of you, even if it's because the car behind you hit you. Keep all of your doors locked always. So obviously with the car, as I said, but also with your apartment, the moment that you get into your apartment, lock your doors behind you. That's it. Leave them all locked. Always. Don't give out your number to just anyone. I made a grand mistake of this. I would give out my number to literally any guy that would just I'd be at the club. So many dudes at the club had my number. I don't do that anymore because I have dealt with horrible experiences of people constantly harassing me and will literally harass you forever. So don't give out your number to just anyone. Let them hit you up on Instagram. DM for a while before you're comfortable just giving out your number to people. Just be more conscious of that. It's not worth the harassing that comes later on. I have dealt with some serious issues with something just like this. If you have somebody that calls you from random numbers and it's just silence on the other end, hang up. That person could be trying to track your location. Speaking of location, always have a friend that knows your location. Pretty much all of us have phones now that have those features where you can connect your location to one of your friends. I highly suggest at least 1 or 2 of your close friends or family has your location at all times. Change up your routine. Be unpredictable as fuck. If you go to work the same way every single day, try to switch it up. If you go to the same grocery store every Tuesday at 2 p.m., change it up. If you go to the same mailbox at the same time every week, or the same day every week, or around the same time, change it up. Do not be predictable. If your routine is constantly routine and nearly the same, it's very easy to track, and that leaves you in a vulnerable position. Always have your keys out, whether it's your apartment keys or your car keys, whatever it is. Always have your keys out ready to go. That way, the moment that you get to whatever door it is, you're ready to hop in and bounce as soon as possible. Do not be caught spending 5 minutes digging through your purse and trying to find your keys and get it out. Pull those motherfuckers out way in advance. Be very mindful of what's around your car when you're returning to it. Also, be mindful of what's underneath your car. Look underneath, just a quick glance underneath your car. There was a horror story of a woman that lived in the place that I lived a couple years ago, and somebody was underneath her car waiting for her and sliced her ankles so that they can then have her fall to the ground and take her. So do be mindful of anything underneath your car. And if there is a van that's parked next to your car on the driver's side, don't be afraid to enter in through the passenger side. The amount of times I've gotten into my car on the passenger side and then climbed over to the driver's side seat. Do it. Why not? Better safe than sorry. Now, in the age of social media, do not be posting where you are while you're there, whether it be a restaurant or a cafe or a hotel, God forbid. Do not post where you are while you're there. When I'm leaving the state, I don't even usually tell people what state I'm in when I'm in the state. I don't even like people to know the general vicinity of where I'm at, let alone the exact place. Do not post while you're there. Wait until you leave and then post it. There is nothing so urgent to post that it can't wait until after you've left. 17, ladies, trust your intuition. We are blessed with an incredible intuition, and we seriously deny it way too much. If I had followed my intuition every single time in my life, it would have saved me from so many harmful situations that I was in. Please trust your gut. If it feels even a little off or a little sketch, it probably is. Women, we have a sixth sense about these things. Trust it. This is an obvious one, we all know, but don't set your drink down and leave it unattended, whether it's a party or a bar. Do not set it down, leave it unattended, and then pick it back up. And if you have to, you can get one of those little, they have condom covers for drinks now that you can do, and all it fits is a straw in it. Love those. Great idea. Totally, you can use those as well. But again, just don't leave your drink unattended. Come on. The amount of friends that I've had be roofied is really unfortunate. If you're being harassed in public, be loud as fuck and draw attention to the situation. Any attacker wants somebody that's an easy target. They don't want somebody that's going to make it hard for them. Be loud as shit, and you can be very specific about what you need. You could say, this person is harassing me. I need help. And another psychology trick, if there's people around you, if you point out specific qualities of people to get their attention, they're actually more likely to help you than just a general call for help. So, man in the yellow shirt or woman in the polka dotted shirt, I need your help. I'm being harassed. Be loud as shit. Don't be afraid to draw as much attention to yourself as possible. Also, nowadays, what I see a lot of people doing is recording. If you are able to, record the motherfuckers. They don't want to be recorded. They don't want to be caught on camera with their face shown doing anything sketch. So that's another great way to get them to leave you alone. If you are being followed, if there are any businesses that are open around you, immediately go into one of the businesses, or if you even think you're being followed, go into one of the businesses and tell the employee about your situation. I was once followed when I was living in Hollywood. I used to run on the Hollywood Strip, never again. And I was being followed, and this guy, I went into a Forever 21 and he followed me into the Forever 21, and I had to tell security that I was being followed and whatever. And they eventually just like kind of kept me safe in a corner until he left. And I literally waited like an hour until after that motherfucker was gone. I was still so scared to leave. If there is not a business nearby, if there is another person that's nearby, preferably a woman, you can go right up to them and don't be afraid to say, "Hey, Nancy, I know it's been a while, but this man is making me feel incredibly uncomfortable and I would really like it if you would walk with me for a bit." Be mindful when you are asked to share your address. So if you're at like the pharmacist and they ask you to confirm your address or anything like that, make sure you whisper it as low as possible. Don't be shouting this information. Also, if you can, I know this is not the cheapest thing and it does cost money, but if you can get yourself a PO box or a physical address PO box to have any sort of packages and stuff delivered to, that's what I do as a content creator. I have to, and that way people can send me things without them ever knowing where I actually live. I highly recommend it just for people in general. That way, when you have to fill out any documents or any forms, being able to use that address, and that way your address is just not exposed everywhere so much. If you are at a hotel and the hotel receptionist says your room number very loudly, or even loud enough where you think anyone around you may have heard, ask for them to give you a new room and to write the room number on a piece of paper and slide it to you. And when you get to your hotel room, make sure nobody in the hallway for any time you're going into your hotel room is lingering in the hallway before you go into your room, especially if you're a woman traveling alone. Yeah. When you are out and about, keep your phone charged. And if you know you tend to be on your phone a lot and you kill the battery, bring a backup charger. The amount of horror stories my friends have had because their phone died and they were put in a shitty situation because they didn't have a way to access their phone is horrifying. Always bring a backup charger with you, and that way you always have access to getting yourself home safely. And my last tip for you is study red flags. Know what they are, and then when you see them, leave at the first sign of it. When people show you who they are, when men show you who they are, believe them. If I had actually just listened to myself and trusted my gut with the tons of red flags that a number of my exes gave, I would have saved myself years of trauma. Oftentimes, unfortunately, it can be the ones closest to us that cause us the most damage. A lot of times with so many cases of harassment or assault or abuse, it's the people that were closest to us in our lives. So please learn about red flags, study those motherfuckers, read all about them, see what they are. And then when you see them happening, leave immediately. You deserve better. You deserve so much better. Please do not allow yourself to endure these things, because I promise you it will only get worse and it will only get more unsafe for you. I love you so much, ladies, and I hate that we have to live in a world where we are constantly feeling unsafe. And I'm unpacking with my therapist and how to live without a constant fear and anxiety. So I'll let you know if she gives me any kind of good tips. But as much as you can, go out in the world with your head held high and with confidence. And I love you so much. New videos every Friday. Be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. All right. See you on the next one.